Hey, so today I just want to go over a quick update on my add-ons and the add-ons that you should have if you're trying to PvP out there, especially in the LFG, which we all know and love. Okay, so this is just gonna be a quick update on all the add-ons I use for PvP, and then what I highly recommend people use, especially if you're no voicing a lot, which a lot of you guys I know are. You have troubles in trouble healing in LFG. There's one in particular that I'm going to get to that I think is a very good that you need to have that not a lot of people do use. Okay, start off we have Gladius. Okay, I get it asked all the time, what is this add-on? That is, my Gladius does not look like this. Well, this is called Gladius EX. It's the same type of add-on, but it's a different one. Okay, it's called Gladius EX with an E at the end. All right, so I'll test it. I'll do the 3v3 test here. The only difference is it's pretty much the same exact thing. You have your your DRs here, you have your frames. The only thing is it's a little bit cooler looking, a little updated look, and it shows actually some cooldowns on it. So I thought at first this wasn't a big deal to have because I have OmniBar and whatnot. But what thing is nice is actually if there's a double, if there's ever a team that's class stacking, you could see who used which one. Okay, so like for instance, if you're playing against double pally, which is actually pretty common now, you can see which one bubbled and which one trinketed, which one bopped or whatever, and you can add pretty much anything you want to it. So one thing I do note, if you want to set this up, is I set it to clicks. So you go to clicks here, I enable the module. For left click, I have it set to target. So if I left click this frame, it targets that target. And then I go to right and I make right focus. So my right click would be focus. So when I right click the frame, there it is, focus there. When I right click the frame, it puts it as focus. So it'll put it over here, my focus target's over there. So focus target is pretty important, especially if you use focus macros and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's a cool add-on top of that, but you can add, also here, you can add a lot of the cooldowns in. So you can go through, you want to add a Demon Hunter ability that you want to see. You have all of these you can add through. If there's something that you notice you want to pick, you could add Covenant ability, which is kind of cool. You know what? On that note, I'm adding the Hunt on this. All right, so the Hunt is officially. Wait, I can track Convoke and all this stuff on here. Look at this. We learn as we go. So you can track actually Convoke. You can track the Kindred Spirits, which is pretty important to have on there. All of these actually, which is pretty gnarly. So you can go through and track anything that you want to see. Is there any other big Covenant abilities that we see? Mind games, because sometimes there's double priests, so that one's good to have on there. Double mind games. Rogue, Shaman, you can add the Kyrian one on there. You can track Chain Harvest, stuff like that. You can track all the racials, which is something that regular Gladius, that was the one thing I really annoyed with it, that I couldn't track racials well. So like you'll know, if you get like Arcane Tauren on there. I definitely recommend having the human one on there because that one usually shows down here. So if someone has a trinket and a human racial, you want to be able to track both to make sure, especially if I'm trying to set up like Convoke stuns and whatnot. You can put the PvP trinkets there. So adaptation, regular trinket, relentless. This all should show up there automatically. I don't know why it's there. You can put Hellstone on there as well. That's cool. Okay. And there's a bunch of Covenant. You can put all the Covenant abilities on there as well. Wow, you can set everything there, man. That's kind of cool. Fleshcraft. Oh, this one, with the Fleshcraft Ultimate Form coming back, it's actually probably something good to check out. Okay, I'm getting a little off track. I'm talking way too much about this add-on. But anyway, you can do more. This add-on is awesome. You can do so much more with that. You can check the DRs and whatnot. Make it really good to your liking, okay? So that's the one big one. The next one is, I don't know how to buy a dummy here. All right, well, I'll talk to the next one. Is Omni CD. Omni CD, okay? So Omni CD is very good, especially for no voicing and LFGing, right? So that's the add-on that shows my stuff here on the side, especially as a healer, but also as a DPS as well. It's so good to be aware of what your teammate has without having to ask them, right? Whenever you're in voice, you're like, oh, do you have silence? Do you have kick? Do you have block? Do you have this, that? You know what? You don't even need to. You can just have it all tracked, so you don't have to ask them. Saves on time, saves on communication, doesn't, prevents like overlapping, which is a huge problem in the meta right now. If you overlap too many cooldowns, you just lose the next go. So a big thing I use is I watch for defensives on my teammates, right? You know, for mage, for example, I play a lot of mage. If he has altar time up, I am not going to pop a defensive. I'll let the altar go. You know, if he has temp shield up, I got to make sure I don't put too much into that. If you know, a warrior uses rally or parry, don't overlap too much into that. You know, you just never want to be overlapping too much. So this was really good to track. You can also track their trinket, so you know if they have trinket or not. You can also track their cooldowns. So something like Convoke, for example, if you're playing with a Boomy, right? And you know, you can track offensives, then defense. You can add anything onto there. You know, so you go to arena here, and then you can go to spells. Again, you can go through and add whatever you'd like to add on there, and it'll pop up there. This is really good for no voicing, especially like I do a lot of LFG games and like viewer games. This is so helpful because like, all right, I say, oh, he karma'd, I don't want to use this. He has karma come up in 5 seconds. I better, you know, he has no defensive for this. You know, if they have no, and then it's really good, especially as the healer, but also as the DPS. So you can say like, oh, my healer doesn't have bark skin or iron bark, whatever. Maybe I should use something to help him out, you know, things like that. The next big one add-on is called BigDebuffs. BigDebuffs. There it is. This one is the add-on I get asked all the time. How can I show more than 3 buffs on my target? So if I, you know, this, I can put thorns there, I can wild growth it, all of them stack on there, right? So that is from this add-on, BigDebuffs, and you do that by just opening it up and you select increase maximum buff size to 6. Okay, so this is really, really important. For the most part, I did not adjust this too much, but the big important reason why I think this is a very, very good add-on, especially again, no voicing, you need to have this, is it shows the debuffs big, hence the name, right? So if let's first from a DPS perspective, if my healer gets kicked or my healer is polyed, my healer is feared, hodge, whatever it may be, it's going to put an icon very large here. So I know if I was a DPS, my healer is kicked, I need to use something, stuff like that. That's really, really important to have. And as a healer, this is good because you can tell who's in CC. You know, are they in a hodge or are they should dispel? You'll see a big hodge icon. If they're sheep, you'll see a big sheep icon. If your mage gets kicked, you'll see a big kick icon. This is really good. I've used it a lot when I'm playing with a mage, right? If my mage is going for poly and he gets kicked, I know I have to cyclone now because he can't poly. So little things like that. But biggest thing I will say is that from a DPS perspective, knowing when your healer is kicked, because I play with a lot of people on stream and they don't realize I'm kicked, or they don't realize I'm CC'd, and they're just running in, you know? If your healer's kicked, maybe you should pull back a little bit, especially if your health's getting low. Things like that it's just kind of increase your awareness overall. The next add-on I want to do is probably flyPlateBuffs. I need to go to a dummy here to check this really quick, so just bear with me for a second. These add-ons are very, very useful. You can they're highly customizable, but these are probably, I'm not going to go over all my add-ons, but these are probably the ones I would very highly recommend. The other one is OmniBar. Yes, OmniBar. So OmniBar, there's going to be a lot of stuff pop up here. Don't get overwhelmed by how much stuff is here. This is just every ability that I have tracked. You know, I've added so many different abilities. I've added Convoke, I had Jurastigoth on there, the Obsidian Claw from BFA. You could track Premonition, that was all from old stuff, but any big cooldown that you could track is very useful. Again, you can also just use this if you want. This is really helpful for kicks because it's very easy to notice it, right? If I'm juking and I see a thing glow up, I know I juked this kick. Or something like Mass or Spell Reflect with Warriors. It's a big deal now. They have Reflect on a short cooldown. They have Intervene on a short cooldown. You do not want to be cycloning into one of those. So if you track it, you'll know if they have it. And then if they don't have, if you don't see it here, that means they have it up. If you see it there, then it's on cooldown, so you can use it. You don't have to worry about juking. You don't have to worry about, you know, getting the Reflect first. So I think a lot of people are pretty much familiar with OmniBar. You can go through spells, and you can add in any custom spells as well. Custom spells here. So I've added Convoke, I've added Explosive Shot, Howl of Terror, you know, Life Cocoon, Mind Games. These are like some of the oldest stuff. Dot Steal. These are a bunch of other abilities that I've added myself that I've felt the need of, and I've added in there. So, and the last one would be flyPlateBuffs. So flyPlateBuffs is what I use. I get asked all the time. It's what's put on top of their heads. Okay, this is not only good from a visual standpoint because obviously this looks good, but it shows CC. Okay. So for example, let me get combo points here. If my, it shows it with a nice countdown on top of it too. So if I want to cyclone this target, I don't know if it works. Can you cyclone? Okay, you can't cyclone. I'll just use main for example. So it works with cyclone as well. It shows a big icon on top of their head, and this is what I'm always looking at when I'm trying to follow up CC. So you see how the main, you see how that big countdown? Let's say I'm going to clone, I'll wait for the last second there. I'll clone it right before it ends. It works well with traps, with polys, with anything. If you can have a better idea what the tracker is, or the timer on the CC, you can follow up your CC better, and it'll make sure you don't overlap. Like, you don't want to stun until your stun's about to end. So for example, you know, if I get a re-stealth here, let's say I want to double stun a target. I go in stealth, I stun it, I see that's the rate timer, 3, 2, 1, I'll stun right at the end to get the follow-up stun. This is very useful if you play a rogue or if you play any class that has a double stun as well. Very good for following up CC. And then just noticing. And then you could also, something cool about it, you can add literally anything to this add-on. So where's flyPlateBuffs here? You go to specific spells. I've added so many random spells. I'm sorry I don't have a profile for this. Because I know if I make a new profile, it deletes everything I've had. It's had before. So I don't have a profile for it, unfortunately. But, you know, things like Thorns I've added. So if if you add Thorns, you just get the spell ID from Wowhead. I'll show you really quick how to do that. So Wowhead, Thorns. So let's say I want to put Thorns on there. I open up Wowhead, and the spell ID is always right here in the web page right here. So I take that, I copy it, I go here, I paste it, and then you press OK, and it'll pop up into your thing. And then you can go to it if you want to make it bigger. Like, I think it looks like Avatar I've made bigger. You can put bark skin. So like if I see, you can add offensive, you can add defensive, you can add CCs, anything you want. So that's something I noticed. Like, so if a warrior is running at me and I can see the avatar icon on top of his head, I know I need to prop a defensive, I need to CC him, I need to peel, I need to kite, something like that, you know what I'm saying? So that's a really good thing to help with build your awareness as well. There are some visuals to spells like combustion, you're glowing all red, but it's also easier to just see the icon on top of their head, and it also has a timer on it. So I know, oh, he has 5 seconds left to combust, I should just stay in line for a little bit longer. Things like that to, you know, increase your awareness and ultimately make you better at the game. Okay, because this game is all about awareness and knowledge of spells and whatnot. So, you know, you learn all these things together, and these add-ons will help bring about more awareness for you, and you can better perform in the game. All right, so that's about it for today. I don't hope I didn't make it too long. Yeah, kind of long. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Anything you guys want to know or you want to see in the future, let me know in the comments. I will always answer your comments. Okay, so have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.